From out of the shadows comes Ninjor. So I haven't seen anybody do a review of this yet, so I don't like to do reviews when I know other people can do a much better job. But I just want to give you my impression of it at least. This was only $5.99 at Ollie's, $5.99 well spent. This has always been one of my favorites. I didn't like him in the what is it called? Power Rangers. I did like him in the Sentai better. It was, I think, Kaku Ranger. He was in that one. I love Kaku Ranger. Kaku Ranger. Da, 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 da. I don't know what they're saying there. He has a place for his sword to put it in when you're not using it. I like it in his hands though. This thing will fall off in a heartbeat, unfortunately. So it will get lost pretty easily if you don't keep up with it. I'm going to lay it down on the side because when I do some things right here, you're going to need to see not it falling off, not being distracted. His hand can spin, his arm can spin, I should say, 360 degrees. There's no articulation anywhere else except in his wrist. And his head is not articulated, technically. His legs, they're not articulated. So he's like a big brick. He reminds me of the Shogun Warriors toys that I had back in the 70s. And that's one of the things that when I first saw the Power Rangers, I thought they were absolutely horrible. It was a bunch of teenagers, which were really my age because they were older, but they were pretending to be teenagers. And I was just like horrified. It was just like not good in my personal opinion because I saw the one with the pudgy pig. However, I was very much into the mecha. I thought the robots were kind of cool. I thought the first one that we saw in America was kind of eh. And I didn't know really at the time that it was connected to Jetman, which I did know about because when I was in college, I had a magazine. It was about, it was a Japanese magazine. It had Jetman in that particular issue. So let's see some of the features of it. Now this is him in the samurai mode, as far as I know. I'm not an expert, by the way. I just know a little bit about him. You pull these down. You push this up to put him in. We're gonna make him into Ninjor mode. Now this one has almost an limitless amount of, you don't have to wind him up or anything. When I was a kid, I had Monstar from the Silverhawk, I still do, and you had to reset him every time you wanted him to flip his head over. This one, you pull this and it flips. Now we have Ninjor in Ninjor mode, not in the samurai mode. Pretty cool looking all on his own. You can always put this back on. Also, this will get in the way when you pull this down, so it's going to come off no matter what. You know, you can pull this down. I'm pulling it down just enough to see it's dangling by a thread. So that's why they didn't put it in permanently or glued it in. I wish they would have put it up a little bit higher and left it there, but or even on his side, because I swear it was on his side in the actual animation or the actual show. But see what I mean? The head, you don't have to reset it. It is perpetual. It just keeps going and going and going. So it's not like you're going to have to eventually wind it up like a grandfather clock. Personally, I mean, this mode is really nice. I like the blues and the golds. And I'm right now in the dark because it's still 9:25. It's not quite that 10 o'clock hour. The sun is on this side of the house, but it's not quite got above the trees yet. But let's put him back in my favorite mode, which is, of course, the samurai mode. And again, he's not very posable. You can't really, I don't know if kids play with toys these days anyway, but for adults, we don't play so much as we display. He looks fantastic on the shelf. I think he looks like a really good representation. I do have the real, original one that was sold in America. It's in storage, and it's also rather large. So this sits a little bit, it takes up a little bit less room on your shelf because it's about 1/8 of the size. When you have a 12-inch versus a 6-inch, it's going to be a half by half by half. So it's 1/8 of the size of the real thing, technically. And I think the real thing was only 10 inches. So I'm being kind of, rounding and fudging my numbers a little bit there. Just trying to give you an estimated idea of how much more space the bigger ones do take up. They're out in storage. They take up a lot of space. So, I mean, I like to have him out and a few others. One of my other favorites that stays out on my shelf 24/7 is this. Now, it's not my favorite version of him. I wish he's way more articulated, especially in those legs, because the legs being all like that kind of looks weird. But here's the thing. I mean, I can either put this on my shelf. These two on my shelf will take up less room than, of course, just one of these in the original one. This one is way huge. You won't even fit on a shelf. He's like so massively huge in this mode. He used to sit on my nightstand, and the original one, or was it whatever the Toys R Us remake of him was. But that's just not, I don't have enough room in my tiny little beach house. So I hope you guys will tell me what you think of this particular figure. Did you pick it up at Ollie's? And I wanted to also make sure you knew that if you haven't picked it up at Ollie's, go check your Ollie's. I don't have an Ollie's. I don't remember seeing them at the Ollie's in Wilmington. I got this one at the Rockingham Ollie's. I don't know if they're still there because I haven't been to Rockingham in months. But check that one out, or check some other ones out around you, because every Ollie seems to get different things. One of my friends, Wilhelm, he got, or he, I don't know if he got, but he saw Reggie from the Archies. I only saw Archie from the Archies at the Rockingham store. I didn't see any at the Wilmington store. But I would love to have the entire Archie game. You know, Betty, Veronica, Reggie, Jughead, Moose. I'd like to have them all. That'd be really cool. And my voice is getting a little dry. So this is a great time to say, have a great day.